And welcome back to Sin and Finn, the Dugout Decision Show. The Blue Jays split a series in the Bronx. Listen, Christian and I predicted 3 out of 4 that we would take in that series. We could have. I think we could have in that series, but nonetheless, we will take a split. Christian is not on the pod for this week. Shout out to him for making it all the way through to end of May, not missing a single episode, but an even bigger shout out to Tristan Morgan for joining us today. Tristan writes just like me for Blue Jays Nation, has some incredible pieces over there, done some incredible player interviews. Make sure to go check those out. Also, the co-host of the Blue Jays Way pod, part of Overline Sports. Make sure to check that out as well. But Tristan, thank you so much for joining me and talking some ball today.
Appreciate the intro, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into our series standouts. I know we split a series in the Bronx. We were hoping to take 3 out of 4, but nonetheless, you win the last 2 games, which is huge. We've been saying it on the pod all the time that when you take the last game of a series, or in this case, when it's a 4-game set, the last 2, it feels great. It just feels great when you take the last 2, take the vibes into the next series. But starting with our series standouts, we've been talking about this guy for a long time on the pod now. I don't know how he's doing it. He's a Rule 5 guy that pitched like 14 innings in his career in the minor leagues, had like back surgery, TJ, everything. He's got 29 innings under his belt in the 2026 season now. It's Spencer Miles. Did it again against the Yankees. 4 1/3 innings, 6 strikeouts, 0 earned runs. Again, for those who don't remember, he's doing it against a lineup that has Aaron Judge in it, Ben Rice, Jazz Chisholm, Cody Bellinger, a lot of guys in there, and he absolutely shut them down. I got some other stats here. Since being a spot, whatever you want to call him, a spot starter, a bulk guy, because he hasn't really been a
Anything you need him
starter.
to be. Anything you need him
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah, I don't think you need him to be. But since he sort of fit into this mold, into this role, 11 innings, no earned runs. Crazy to think, no earned runs, 13 strikeouts. His ERA on the year is a 2.17. I don't know what more you can say about this guy, but he's been dominant this year.
What were the Giants thinking not protecting this guy on
Yeah.
their 40 man? Because like it's not even that he's just playing well. Like his underlying numbers back this up too. Like he's not just having like a hot week. Like this is totally sustainable for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the velo is there. I remember seeing it in spring training. This guy can throw like 97, 98. I don't think we're realizing
Yeah.
that. Listen, I'll admit, I remember looking back at the Rule 5 guys and thinking maybe Angel Bastardo, maybe that's the guy between the two we take. Well, I was wrong. I'll take that back. It's absolutely Spencer Miles. And again, how long is he going to do it? We've been talking about this on the pod. Like, are you going to build this guy up to like 100 innings on the season? Like, we kind of need him to do that because we don't really have a fifth man. We'll get into that later. But
Mhm.
on Thursday, it was an entire bullpen day, and they were shut down. They've been doing this all year. Aside from maybe a couple guys in the back end of the bullpen, it's been shut down. Yesterday, it started out with Braden Fisher, who's had an incredible season this year, had an inning in the third under his belt, 4 strikeouts, struck out every batter that he got out. Then we went to Adam Macko. We'll talk about him a little bit later. Then you went
Mhm.
obviously to Spencer Miles, who was your bulk guy. Tyler Rogers came in, got a clean inning. And how about Jeff Hoffman cleaning it up, getting his first save since April 20th? Again, I don't know what more you can say about this bullpen. 9 innings they racked up yesterday, no earned runs and 14 strikeouts. And for those people that don't remember, the last time we had a bullpen day against the Yankees in the Bronx, it was game 4 of the ALDS. So there's something with the Yankees that they do not face this Blue Jays bullpen well. And again, I don't know what more you can say about them because they've been really good this season.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I mean, like, I mean, a lot of people like to put a lot of light on Jeff Hoffman and Brendan Little, but I think those are, a few instances where it was pretty ugly. But overall, as a team, across these 2 months we've played into now, the bullpen's been incredibly solid, as you said.
Yeah.
And if you look back even a few years ago, the bullpen was a mess. So I think, the front office and Ross Atkins do need to have a little bit of credit for what they've done here.
Yeah, I mean, when we think back to like the 2023 bullpen, that was incredible. I mean, like even
Yeah.
Tim Mayza, guy we had around for a while, like a
Hmm.
1 ERA. Romano was great, but then 24, I we don't like to talk about 2024 a lot on the show, but we know how awful that got.
Hmm.
25 was kind of a step in the right direction, but then this offseason, you bring in Tyler Rogers, obviously, Louis V. Listen, I've been talking about Louis V since the offseason. I said back in January, I think he
Dog.
should be the closer. I mean, it was kind
Absolute
of a
dog.
crazy call, but I guess I was right. I'll take that one. Like again, the Jeff Hoffman struggles are there, but that's I guess that was sort of expected given the way last season went. And listen, if he fills into a situation where he's in the 7th or 8th, you'll take that. I don't care what money you're paying him. If Louis V has a .7 ERA, keep him as the closer. Let's
Hmm.
go to our lefty though in the pen. Joe Mantiply finally went to the IL. I mean, he was actually great while he was with the Jays, had like a 2 ERA, but
Yeah.
he was our other lefty alongside Mason Fluharty. He goes to the IL. And what's the corresponding move? The Canadian from Slovakia, but I think moved to Alberta when he was 10 or 11. Adam Macko, for those who don't remember, was part of the Teoscar Hernandez trade, came in with Eric Swanson. Swanson was great for us for a couple of years, but then obviously retired, had some health struggles. Mako's the long-term guy. We don't know how long he's going to be here, but finally made his MLB debut. Looked great in the WBC. For those people that don't remember, struck out Bryce Harper. I remember in a huge at-bat back
Hmm.
in, I think it was the quarterfinals of the WBC, Canada, USA. Had 3 innings in this series, 3 strikeouts, only 2 hits given up, and didn't give up a run. I remember the first game he appeared in was Monday night, went 3 up, 3 down. And listen, I don't think he's going to be a starter, but I feel like a Fluharty Mako situation kind of works as two lefties in the pen.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a bad replacement for Mantiply at all. And I mean, how about that Teoscar Hernandez trade paying its dividends off right now,
Yep.
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, his slider is absolutely nasty. He has tons of horizontal movement. He does remind me a lot of Mason Fluharty coming out of the pen. I feel like the way they
Yeah.
pitch is very similar with a ton of horizontal movement. So far, also Mako in his 3 games, 3 innings he's played, he hasn't walked a single batter yet, which I think is an amazing sign for somebody like this with that much movement.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we know this bullpen, if there has been any sort of struggle, it's been the walks. Think of a guy like Yariel, obviously struggles with
Absolutely.
that. Even Tyler Rogers, to be honest, a guy that doesn't walk anybody, his walk numbers are a little bit up there. You know, Hoffman will struggle with that. To have a guy that comes in there and you know is going to be pounding the zone is huge from the left side. And unlike Fluharty, like Fluharty is great, but he's not really ever going to throw harder than like 91, 92.
Yeah,
Got it up
true.
a little bit this year, but it's not that quick. I saw some 96s from Adam Mako. Like this guy used to be built up as a starter. He has the mix to be a starter. He's got a changeup, he's got a cutter, sinker, like everything. So who knows if down the line, if once he lose a Kevin Gosman or something like that, do they try and turn this guy into a starter? Maybe, maybe. But in the interim, in 2026, I feel like he could build into that mold of like rest of the season. Like you came up in May, but I think you could be here until the end. Honestly, I don't know what's going on with Brendan Little. Like we've been talking about this guy a lot on the pod, man. I don't know. It was just so horrible at the beginning of the year.
His AAA
Look at
numbers aren't bad right now. His whip, I think in AAA he has about a 1.6 whip, but like a 1 ERA.
Yeah, because he can't figure out the walks. Like he's not giving up any hard contact. Anything he does is just going to be on the ground because he's a ground ball machine. But he's pitched like 15 innings and he's got like 15 walks. Like he can't be
Yeah.
walking a batter every single inning. As long as that trend continues, like people I think forget, like early April we sent this guy down. Like 2 months he's been down. I mean, we're 2 months in and he hasn't figured out the walks. So if he's not figuring out the walks, listen, Adam Mako, you got the reins, man. Like do your thing and just keep working.
100%.
And he did it again against the Yankees lineup. So hopefully that can continue against some weaker lineups. Let's go to Wednesday's game, though. You drop the first two, crushing defeats. I mean, you lose both games by 1 run, just crushing. And you had Dylan Cease going in game 2, couldn't get the job done. But who's the guy that got the job done in game 3? Our starter, the guy that I called. For those of you who were listening back in the ALDS, I said this guy should have started game 1 against the Yankees. It's Trey Savage.
Hey,
First of all, what a pitching matchup that was. Cam Schlittler, Trey Savage. These two guys are going to be in the league for like a decade plus going at it. I absolutely love it. Jays versus Yankees. What a rivalry. These two guys going at it. 6 innings in this outing against the Yankees. Most he's thrown in an outing this year. 8 strikeouts, only 2 hits, no walks. We talk about that command. No walks, no earned runs. And how about I just had to throw this in there? He struck out Aaron Judge 3 times. You'd love to see it. I don't want to talk bad about the guy too much, but he's a Blue Jay killer. Love to see that. Huge. We were talking about all season. Once Trey comes back, what are you going to get out of him? Like maybe 3 innings, 4 innings, ease his arm a little bit so he's ready come playoffs. Well, it's end of May and we're up to 6 innings. So the workload is starting to build a little bit. And boy, was that an outing we really needed to get out of him.
yeah, that game on Wednesday was absolute cinema. I'm all in on you, Savage. I was a little before the season with, the amount of work he had last season, I was a little bit, I wasn't concerned necessarily, but I was at least hazardous of, his workload heading into the
Yeah.
season. But I mean, his expected ERA this season is 1.8. That is good for
Oh,
99th percentile in the MLB. Like
yeah.
he looks insane right now, and he just continues to haunt the Yankees, which is obviously good for us.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, if he keeps it up, man, he is definitely in contention for Rookie of the Year, and maybe even beyond that.
Yeah, it's crazy for people that don't remember. Like again, only pitched what, like 3 regular season outings, something like that last year. Has rookie eligibility. Like I think coming into the year, we might have thought, well, Kazuma Okamoto, that's the guy that's probably going to win Rookie of the Year. He's 30 years old and had MVPs in Japan, whatever. Listen, we got another guy that might actually take it away from him in Trey, even though he missed the first part of the season. He's going to build up the innings. And he mentioned the expected ERA. Well, the real ERA is 1.07.
Yeah, he's
Like,
he's like even better than the
yeah,
best expected ERA in the MLB.
I mean, it's crazy. We talk about some of these guys that are in the top of the Cy Young contention, like a Cam Schlittler who's got like a 1.5 ERA or something like that. Listen, I know the innings aren't there right now for your Savage, but if he keeps this going and he gets to, I don't know, 130, 140 innings by the end of the year,
Hmm.
it wouldn't be crazy if he's finishing top 10, top five Cy Young. Give me a rookie of the year as well.
Yeah,
Point is, even if he's not doing it this year, you have this guy here for a long time. I mean, I don't want to do this. I just hope we don't run into another Alek Manoah situation because
I didn't want to say it, but
I
I was
know
thinking it.
I never want to say it, but again, we saw this with a 21, 22-year-old guy coming up was great. To be honest, I don't get the same impression with Trey because he's just not the same sort of like cocky presence on the mound and he's kind of like mouthing off. I remember when Manoah did that to like Bobby Dahlbeck against the Red
Yeah,
Sox and he's saying all kinds of things. Trey's not like that. So I don't think he's going to run to that situation. And again, we don't talk about pressure in the tires anymore. I don't think Trey's ever going to do that. So I think this is a guy we can rely on for years to come. They saved his arm in the offseason a little bit, built up in the minors, and now he's here to go for the long run.
yeah.
Let's
And
go
the
to the
thing is,
offense, though.
Trey
Yeah.
is before that. Trey's
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
backed it up in the postseason. Without
Yeah.
Manoah, he's had the whole pressure in the tires thing before he played against the Mariners, and he gave up. I don't know if I think it was at least a homer in the first inning of that wild card game. Trey
Yeah.
has backed this up not only in the DS in the CS, but also in the World Series against maybe the best team, probably the best team of this century. So
Yeah.
that for me is enough to say, okay, he's good enough to stay here for a while.
Yeah.
Like you don't just make Ohtani look silly in the World Series like that and not go on to at least have a good career.
Dude, people were turning that into posters. Ohtani whiffing, the helmet's coming off, Trey's looking up to the sky. That was incredible. And that was his best game of the playoffs. I think game five, like 12 punchy, 7 innings in his sixth
Insane.
start of the playoffs. Not his first, even though the first was incredible against the Yankees. I mean, he had a no hitter going into the sixth, but I think his best was that game five against the Dodgers. And again, 3 regular season starts, 6 in the postseason. He doubled what he did in the regular season
Mhm.
and somehow got even better. So you're right. The fact that he showed it on the biggest stage in the World Series, I think he's here for the long run and he's going to do great. But let's go to the offense here. One guy that's really been struggling. I mean, we've been talking about this guy all year after the incredible season he had last year. Now 36 years old, possibly entering his last year with the Jays. I don't know what they do with him. I mean, he sold his house in Toronto. Is he coming
Yeah.
back to the Jays? I don't know. It's George Springer. Went 5 for 18 in the series and had 2 home runs. Again, the Jays only put up 2 runs in yesterday's game. Springer's was one of them, a solo shot. Only up to 4 home runs on the season. The batting average right at the Mendoza line. He's really struggling to get it over 200 this year. Christian said it back in the offseason. I remember asking him this question: who is going to lead the team in home runs for this season? Both of us said right away that it's not going to be George Springer. Like he was right on that. And you know what? He's looking pretty right with that. I don't think it's going to be George Springer. Look, it's not even looking like Vlad right now. I don't know who it's going to be, but I think we can agree it's probably not Springer. We were expecting some regression, not to the level that we're seeing now because it's like a sub 600 OPS. And
Yeah.
again, it's your leadoff guy. Like this isn't the guy we were expecting to be in the 5 or 6 or 8 spot. He's your leadoff guy. You need to see him get going a little bit. I'm not expecting all-star form. I'm not expecting MVP form. Like he had the third highest OPS in the league last year. But what do you think we see out of Springer going forward? Like average wise, I don't think we're seeing a 300 average again, right? Like that was a little bit
No.
crazy. Do we
I don't
have to?
see him hitting 300 again. I think that was a little bit of an
Yeah,
outlier from last year. The year
yeah,
before that in 2024, he was playing a little bit injured. He had a 220 average, 674 OPS. And I think we get closer to that this year, but I think it's maybe a middle ground between last year and 2024. I don't think the power is necessarily going anywhere. I don't think he's going to get 32, but I also
yeah,
don't think he's going to be like a 10 home run guy. Like I think
yeah,
that aspect of his game is going to stay around for a little bit longer. But
yeah,
again, the 309 average, he's not keeping that, I don't think. Like
yeah.
if he sits around 250 and gets around 20 homers, I'll take that every single day for a 36-year-old in his last year of his deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's all you need out of the leadoff spot. Think of leadoff guys around the league too, like Kyle Schwarber on the Phillies. Like he's not going to hit 300 ever, but he's going to hit nukes. Like we're kind
Hmm.
of shifting to that a little bit. We're not having like the Luis Ariz types at the top of the lineup. We're having the guys that hit for power. So if Springer can do that, like you said, I'll take even like a 240 average, something like that. If we get
Yeah.
like 22 tanks, yeah,
Get it a
something
little
around
bit
there.
higher. Get it over
Yeah,
220.
yeah, I'm okay with that. Again, you have to factor in the toe. Like he got hit
Hmm.
on the toe and then came back, immediately got hit on the same toe. I thought he was going right back to the IL. Just crazy, unfortunate circumstances for him. I don't know how that happened. You have to think that still factors in a little bit because they said that when he came back, still wasn't fully healthy. Like he's obviously still feeling it a little bit. That's an injury that you can play through a little bit, but the pain is obviously still there. I mean, the Jays have just dealt with everything. Like the next guy we're talking about here, Ernie Clement, comes into the series and he's got strep throat. Like the
Yeah.
illnesses and the injuries and everything has been crazy. But since I mentioned Ernie, let's talk about him here. Again, playing through strep throat. I think had to come out of the lineup on Tuesday's game, but came in for a pinch hit at bat and got a hit because, of course, he did. Like, that's just what he does. He comes in, gets knocks. His average on the year is now up to 296. Three doubles in yesterday's game. All three of his hits doubles, leading the league with doubles at 16 when 6 for 12 in this series. Man, again, this is not a guy flipping the other way from Springer that you're really going to expect power out of. He's a guy I'm okay with getting 10 home runs, but if he sustains this average, a 300 average, listen, long term, when Springer might be gone, this is a guy that might work his way into the top of the order if he keeps that average going. I mean, he's getting
Mhm.
extra base hits. He's a quick runner. The legs have gone under him a little bit. He's not the same runner. He's not like 80th percentile sprint speed. The
Yeah.
legs are gone a little bit. But again, the extra base hits are there. The stolen base potential is there. And man, he just keeps doing his thing. After what he did in the playoffs last year, he's just been a great part of this lineup to start the year.
Are you concerned at all with his defense? Because currently he's outs above average hit at -5.
Yeah.
And last year, that was one of his big selling points because he had 15 outs above average last season.
Yeah. We just talked about that in one of our
Mhm.
last few pods when we were talking about the two, Clement and Varsho. The two of them, how it's just been zapped. Like their legs are gone. They're not the same in sprint speed, and the defense isn't the same. Like the bobbles you see Ernie make when he's at second, like routine plays that are just like bobbling off his arm and going into right
Mhm.
field. You didn't see that last year. Again, I wonder if it's injury stuff because he played so much last year. Is he playing through something? I don't think it would be. I don't think they'd be playing him until May 22nd that we are here, and they're playing him through injury. Although, again, they did that with Nathan Lucas, who had vertigo for like a month, and they just
Yeah.
kept playing him. So is Ernie going through something? I don't know. Is it just a shift to second base? Because last year he was a utility guy, but you would think that it would be tougher to keep moving around between positions. Now he knows you're just a second baseman. Just figure that out. You're the
Mhm.
everyday second baseman, but it's actually gotten worse. So I think in the long run we'll be okay because we know we have Andres at short. Like that's a guy you can always rely on defensively. I want to just chop this up too. It was a long season last year. He's getting his feet under him at second base. Maybe he
Mhm.
wasn't used to that position before, but you're right. As much as the bat is getting going, the defense does need to improve because it really hasn't been great this year. But nonetheless, the bat, just speaking of his bat, like again, I don't know where you're going to figure this guy into the lineup. Like we have Andres kind of always as our 9-hole hitter. You have our catchers down there, but he's truly a guy that can hit anywhere. You might not put him clean up, but you can put him at the top of the order. You can put him on like the 8 or 9 spot, and he's like your second leadoff hitter. And again, what he's been doing with the bat this year, does he sustain a 300 average this season? I don't know. Last year he was like a 270 average guy, like 700
277.
OPS. Yeah, but again, the WAR numbers were great. He had like a 4.5 WAR because the defense was there. What do you think? Does he eclipse like 4.5 WAR again? I feel like with the defense down, that's down a little bit, but I'm just hoping he can keep the average up with the bat.
I mean, if he's hitting around 300, I definitely think he can. But that is, I mean, honestly, in today's game, that is almost a feat hitting
Yeah.
300 now.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's pretty consistent with the bat. Like he just doesn't really strike out at all. I think that's a big plus for him. He doesn't take
Yeah.
many walks either, but he really puts the ball in play a lot, and that's something that would help his average raise up to 300. And I
Yeah.
definitely think that's possible for him.
Yeah. And again, one of his doubles yesterday, for those who didn't see the game, I think I'm not sure who it was against. It might have been their guy like Giovanni Cruz, like that crazy guy. That guy came out there
Mhm.
throwing like 103 in the Yankees pen. Fastball way up in at the hands, and he just turns on it. He's not poking it
Yeah.
the other way because he's late. He's early on 100 and he's pulling down the line to get a double. Like you said, this guy might honestly get like 15 walks on the year, if that. Like he's just never going to walk. I don't know how he's going to get the OBP up, but he hits every single ball. Like he's only going to walk 15 times, but he only might strike out 20. Like
Yeah,
it's
I
crazy
swear
how
to
many guys
God,
we have doing that.
pitchers might have to start not throwing balls
Yeah.
low below the zone because he's going to start hitting all of them out the way he
Yeah.
swings at those.
He's gonna pull like a Vlad Senior. He's just gonna hit it off the ground like a cricket swing. It's crazy how many guys we have that do that. Like we really need to get Alejandro Kirk back because he's another guy that does that. Like again,
Mhm.
only gonna walk maybe 30 times on the year, but he's gonna strike out like 35. That's it. This team is great at even though again the offense is not where we want it to be on the season. We won the last 2 games, but we scored 2 runs in each. Like the offense isn't where we need it to be. But one thing we can always rely on is the strikeouts are not there. Vlad, another guy going through it, but the strikeouts really aren't there. The chase is there a little bit more, but we have one of the lowest team strikeout numbers in the league. And that was a big thing last year, right? Why the
Mhm.
offense was getting going is because this team doesn't strike out. They put the ball in play. They might not have the Yankees power numbers. Like, sure, Ben Rice and Aaron Judge both have almost like 20 home runs this year. We don't have anything close to that, but we're going to put the ball in play and we're going to make things happen. The next guy we're going to get to here, Dalton Varsho, the one guy that when the offense has been going through it, and a lot of guys have not been performing, like I said, a Springer, a Vlad, a Clement, a lot of guys that in the last couple of weeks were struggling, like even in the Tiger series right before this and series before that, Dalton Varsho was the one guy that kept playing through it all and kept performing well. The one guy that cared on this field, 7 for 17 in this series. And another thing that's crazy to me, given that his average in his career has consistently been like below 250, he's not an average guy, up to
Hmm.
276 on the season. Went 4 for 5 in game two of the series, had an RBI double yesterday, part of the 2 runs yesterday. 276 average. Like we just talked about Clement earlier, possibly being a 300 hitter. And coming into the year, Christian and I made predictions for who's going to lead the team in home runs. I went with Addison Barger. I mean, that's not looking great. He's on the
Hey,
IL. I
he
think
could get
he's due
hot
back.
though. He could totally get hot in
Good.
June, July.
Yeah. I mean, he's a guy that in a week, honestly, plays 7 games, 5 tanks easily. Like he could
Hmm.
do that. But again, how is he going to recover from the elbow? And it'll be like
Yeah.
June. He could lead the team in home runs, but I think it's probably unrealistic at this point. Dalton Varsho was Christian's pick. And again, with the power that we saw last year in a limited sample, I think it was like 70 games, 20 tanks. I'm thinking easy. This guy, okay, that's a great pick, like 35 home runs in a full season. Give me that. Looking great in spring training. For those who forget, this guy was batting like 450 in spring training as well. Turns out
Hmm.
spring training stats mean absolutely nothing. They're a wash. Don't even look into those because he looked horrible coming into the year, but he's really figured it out as late. And again, a 276 average. Is this something he sustains the whole year? Like, to be honest, again, just like a Springer type, I don't think I want Farsho turning into a singles hitter. Like, again, the power is there this year, but we're not seeing it to the same extent. Had the great walk-off salami a couple weeks ago, and I said that that was going to be the turning point. I'm like, this is our Bo home run against Texas. This is what's going to turn the season around. Kind of, kind of like we went 4-3 on the road trip. Like Varsho's hitting pretty good, honestly, still, but the offense isn't still clicking. Maybe by September, we'll call it the turning point. I don't know. But I think he's a guy that I might want to sacrifice a little bit of that average to get a little bit more power output when we're struggling to get some of that slug right now.
Yeah, I mean, Varsho last year was pretty crazy. He had 59
Yeah,
hits last year, and 20 of them were homers during the regular season.
crazy.
Like about 33% of his hits were homers. So,
Wow.
I mean, what an insane clip. So, honestly, that prediction for him to lead the team in homers wouldn't, I mean, I see where he's coming from. That totally makes sense.
Yeah,
But I think Varsho is so valuable to this team because, like, he can give you 20 plus homers. I think his average is probably going to fall down a little bit more towards his career mean. Like maybe
yeah,
it'll be closer to last year's 240. But
yeah,
not only does he do that, but he's probably the best center fielder in the game when it comes to range and his ability out there. Like I don't think
yeah,
anybody in the league right now can patrol center field like Varsho does.
yeah.
And we have him at a pretty decent price. Like he's not even that expensive for us.
Yeah. And again, he's entering a walk year. So this is the big thing for him personally. Obviously, you want to do great into your walk year, but so this is going to affect his money. Like I was thinking, does this guy get 150 mil going into the offseason? I don't know. Like it's tough because again, the defense is there. And if the power was there, which we're not really seeing right now, like the average is great,
Mhm.
but we're not seeing a lot of power. How does this affect him in the market? But not only for him, how does it affect him in the market? How does it affect the Jays? Because I would love for them to bring this guy back. When you think of our other outfielders, like I'm sorry, Jesus Sanchez, that doesn't really in the outfield do it for me. I mean, he fell on his chain the other day and like hurt his chest
Yeah.
or something. Like his routes are really bad in the outfield. Barger as well, another guy that when he comes back has a great arm. Granted, not going to be the best mover out there in the outfield. Nathan Lucas as well, and Davis Schneider, like these guys can make highlight reel plays, but they just don't move the same as Varsho in the outfield. And again, there was some concern with Varsho, like you just mentioned, with the defense. Not the same that we've seen in years past. Like just like with Ernie making some bobbles. I remember, I think it was earlier the year against the White Sox. Varsho had a play like he's just coming in, ground ball, and just
Yeah.
scoots right by him. Like
Hmm.
things that you just didn't see in the past. It's minor. It's one error that happens. I mean, it's baseball. It's life. It happens. But just little things that I feel like you didn't see in the past from Varsho. Again, how does that affect his value? I don't know. I'd still like for the Jays to bring him back just because they kind of lack that athletic ability in the outfield.
Hmm.
But nonetheless, I mean, if he keeps this going, I like our chances again getting to the playoffs and middle of the lineup. Where would you like this guy in the lineup though? When say everyone's clicking, because I remember back to last season when we were talking about the playoffs, thinking how do we shape up the lineup? And I remember thinking maybe you slot Varsho in the 2 spot. And I realized that that maybe wasn't the greatest idea. And listen, Nathan Lucas was crazy in the 2 spot,
Yeah.
did a great job. But I feel like every time we try to move Varsho up in the lineup, it doesn't really work. I feel like he's a perfect guy keep him in like the 5 or 6 spot. Maybe Okamoto figures to be your 4-hole hitter once he starts getting it going. Like, where would you have Varsho in the lineup? I feel like every time we put him up in the order, he doesn't do great.
Yeah, I think if Varsho's really clicking, I feel like he'd be great out of the cleanup spot, and then you can maybe move Okamoto to three, Vladdy two. I
Yeah.
wouldn't because I wouldn't mind when Lucas comes back to maybe put him down the seven hole or somewhere a little bit
Yeah.
down the lineup. But I mean, for right now, with the way he's swing, I mean, I love him in the five or six, like
Yeah.
just kind of around the middle of the order, just a little bit below. I think that's where he operates best.
Yeah.
So I
And does
totally
that,
agree with you.
yeah, does that maybe generate a little bit more power too? Like when we're trying to slot him to the top of the lineup in the 2 hole, maybe he's trying to become a little bit more of this average hitter, right? But if he's a little bit lower, we're
Mm.
getting some runners on. It's like, okay, you're the big boy in the middle of the lineup. We need you to cash some runners in. And again, with the lineup too, like you just mentioned, having Vlad in the 2 spot, I mean, it's kind of worked because again, it just simply
Yeah,
wasn't working in the 3 spot, and he was so stingy on that he did not want to move. They put him up to the 2 spot against the Tigers, and immediately he launches. And I'm thinking, okay, this guy's back. Like that was the fix. Put him in the 2 spot. Turns out that's not how baseball works because he was okay. We'll get to him in the struggles part. Sucks that again we have to put Vlad in the struggles because it feels like it's been like that all year. But
yeah.
I feel like that is the move long term. I don't mind that. Keep Lucas a little bit lower in the lineup, maybe Vladger too. I hope Okamoto can build into that because we'll get to him a little bit, struggling a little bit in the middle of the lineup. I'd like him to be a 3. And then, yeah, Varsho somewhere towards the middle. Again, like a Jesus Sanchez for the longest time was our cleanup hitter.
Hmm.
Like, not the
Eh.
greatest. Yeah, like
Maybe
exactly. Like,
against righties. Against righties,
yeah,
yes, but
yeah,
he is a platoon player. Like against lefties
yeah,
for his career, I think he has maybe like a 550 OPS. Like it's not
yeah. It's
valuable
rough.
at all.
Yeah. And again, I feel like the guy we do forget on the injured list is Barger. Like, I think
Hmm.
starting the year, Barger was the guy in the cleanup spot. Same thing with Sanchez, has always struggled against the lefties. I know we think of the pinch hit grand slam in the World Series off Anthony Bonda. Shout out Blue Jays legend. Pitched in like 5 games in 2022. But still think there's a little bit of work that Barger would have to do against the lefties. So again,
Hmm.
a little bit of a platoon situation there. We'll see how it goes once these guys come back because it feels like this whole season we haven't really seen the whole lineup healthy. Like truthfully,
Hmm.
I feel like it was just the A series, the first series, and then Ponce goes down immediately and everything's falling apart. Like we
Yeah.
haven't seen Alejandro Kirk. Remember, he was our cleanup hitter for the longest time, and he was driving in
Yeah.
runs. Like
Yeah.
a lot of guys that we're missing that could be like that's your 4 and 5 right there easily. Could be Barger
Mm.
and Kirk. And then Varsho moves down to your 6. And that's huge. Like Dalton Varsho is your 6 guy, where a lot of teams would take Varsho as your cleanup guy. So huge. Once this lineup gets back into shape, the guys could really start to get mashing. Let's
Hmm.
get to the bullpen go though. I can't believe that we're actually putting this guy in the series standouts. It's Jeff Hoffman. Listen, I don't know if you've been listening, but I've said some things about Jeff Hoffman on this pod that I may regret. Honestly,
I
early in
think
the
I've seen
year.
the clips.
Yeah, it's been rough. Some of the things I've said about him, but listen, I'll give him his props. Got the save in Thursday's game, first save since April 20th. I don't want people to think that okay, Jeff Hoffman's your closer now. He got one save, he's back. Put him in the closer spot. No, that was only because Louis V had pitched 2 games in the series back to back. I don't think they want to work him 3 days in a row. How do you know? You get to Friday night against the Pirates and you're in a 2-1 situation. You need Louis V. Don't pitch him 4 days in a row. But listen, they
Yeah.
had Hoffman available. And the biggest thing to me, watching his outing, had a clean 1-2-3 inning, got the save, like huge. How many times do you see Hoffman get a 1-2-3 inning? Like it doesn't happen. He's going to walk a guy. He's going to hit a guy. I think I pulled up a stat earlier this season when I was saying some things that I may have regretted about Hoffman that last year in like 70 innings or something that he pitched last year, 68, somewhere around there, he had like 5 clean innings. And by clean innings, I mean like that, going 1-2-3, ground out, pop out, strikeout, something like that. 5 out of 70. That was it. Like every other outing he came into, single into the outfield, maybe a walk, maybe a hit by
Hmm.
pitch. Like something would go wrong. Even if he got the save, it was like a Romano situation where he would just give us a heart attack every time. Good to see a clean 1-2-3 inning. And the biggest thing for me was he was spotting the slider. Like
Yeah.
again, when I was saying the things about Hoffman that weren't great, it's because he didn't know how to locate the slider. And again, I'm not a pitching guru. I don't know what I'm saying a lot of the time on pitching. I mean, I pitched at a lower level, nothing near the MLB, but I was looking at his slider and I was noticing that when he was gripping the ball, he didn't have a tight grip on it. And he was almost like leaving a gap in between his fingers. And you would see it. They would show slow motion on the
Hmm.
broadcast. And that thing is just slinging out of his hand. And a slider that's meant to cut away from righties is actually
Hmm.
hitting the righties or going way up and in. What did he do yesterday? He got sharp on that ball. everything was in the ground. I mean, the strikeout at the end, I think to Paul Goldschmidt, bounced in the ground and he's still swinging at it because it was that good. It looked like a fastball all the way and then just sharp spin at the end. He needs to get that going because, again, the strikeout numbers for Hoffman, incredible this year. If he figures out that four seam slider combo, I think he's great in the seventh or eighth the rest of the year.
Yeah, if you look at his stat cast on his slider, it is probably his most erratic pitch.
Yeah,
Like the heat map
absolutely.
is pretty much all over the place.
Yeah.
And the thing with Hoffman, I think people get really frustrated with him because we know how good he can be, right? He was the all-star over in Philadelphia, and
Yep.
even stretches last year, there was the couple of months where he was very, very elite. He would have
Yeah.
months where he had a 1 ERA and was closing down, you know, the end of games like
Yeah.
that, like super,
Yeah.
super easily. But I mean, those struggles early on this year, I mean, they were bad. His highs are really high and his lows are really low.
Yeah. I mean, the craziest part is the BABIP for him is like 500. Every
Hmm.
other ball that's getting hit being put in play, and it's a hit. How much of that is just him getting unlucky? I mean, that has to factor in a little bit. Like it just feels like an unlucky year because he's one of the guys. When you look at his FIP, I think I did this back in the Tigers pod that we did. That when you look at his FIP, it's like a 3.5. And for those who don't know,
That's not
again,
bad.
the fielding independent pitching, which is what FIP is only factoring what the pitcher does with the batter and the catcher. You're forgetting about the defense. So it's basically strikeouts, walks, and home runs or doubles, say, into the gap. FIP a 3.5. Like that's telling you he's supposed to be better than his 6.5 ERA or whatever he's got this year. He should be better. But again, even though the FIP is 3.5, when you're throwing the slider all over the place, and that's basically his one off speed, like he has the splitter, but I feel like we haven't seen the splitter as much this year. I feel like
No.
he was using that a lot more last year. Even the fastball as well, like it sails on him. I think it was against the Angels a couple of weeks back when they were in Anaheim. He had that outing where he came in and hit like three batters in a row or something like that with the heater. It's just sailing on him. If he gets everything sharp, like and fine tune, it's there. The heater, again, when it's like 98, it's incredible. Like I
Hmm.
remember last year when we were getting to like August and September, and this is what I referenced a lot going back to last year. The velo was just zapped from him. He was down to like 92, 93. The workload was too much for him to handle. Couldn't locate the slider, and the fastball's down to like 92. We're at the end of May here, and we're still seeing 97, 98, which is huge out of him. It's
Hmm.
just he can't locate the slider. Like, I don't want people to think, like, where would you go with this if, say, he has a good 5 or 6 outings in a row? Would you put him back in the closer spot? I feel like right now you kind of have to keep Louis V, right? Like, he's
Yeah,
still doing.
I think it's Varland's job to lose. Like I think Varland
Yeah.
would really have to go through a similar thing that Jeff Hoffman had, where
Yeah.
he really is just incapable of doing it in the moment. So they have to go to Hoffman. I think,
Yeah.
I mean, again, Hoffman when he was on the Phillies, I think he had maybe 10 saves
Yeah.
when he was an all-star. Like he was kind of more that eighth inning guy, and that's where he's really succeeded in the past. So I don't know why we wouldn't move him to that position now that we have Varland who can really close out games effectively.
Yeah, and Varland has shown that he can do it. Like he's been in this role for almost a month now. There's no reason to believe that he can't continue it. And my biggest reason for saying all the way back in January he should be the closer is the velo. As much as I just said, I know I just talked about Hoffman's velo and said he's throwing 97, 98. Listen, Louis can get it up to 101. So it's even
Yeah.
better, honestly. And he's got even better secondary pitches. I mean, he's got a changeup that's like 95, 96, which is crazy. And that knuckle curve that's nasty as well. That's up to like 90. So with the bullpen as well, like you got a Jimmy Garcia coming back as well. Think of a Tyler Rogers in the back end. We don't need to worry about Hoffman being the closer as well because it's setting up to be a perfect like 7, 8, 9 rotation there. You can have Garcia go one day once he's back. Rogers is maybe the eighth inning guy, and Hoffman as your seven. Maybe he's the eighth, but even as your seven, like that's the back end of the bullpen. You know you're going to trust Rogers, like ground ball machine. That's all he does. Low ERA all the time. Louis V at the back and Hoffman as your seven, which, like you said, with the Phillies, didn't really get many saves. That worried me. As soon as we signed him back in 2025, like he had never been a closer, so just
Hmm.
throwing him into the fire right away, it's been working. Like if you look at the last month overall for Hoffman, I know the ERA is still not good. It's still like a 6.5, but it was just that bad in April that I think it's starting to get a little bit better. I think he's starting to figure out got like 7 or 8 holds on the year already. Like he hasn't
Yeah.
been in that role for that long, and he's got 7 holds. So I think he's molding into that role pretty effectively. Let's go to our series struggles, though. Can't believe we're starting with this guy who's been on the team for like 2 weeks, if that. Like
Yeah.
DFA'd back in the offseason, didn't know what role he was going to have in spring training, kind of pitched okay. I remember he went to Cuba for the WBC, didn't look great. It's Yariel Rodriguez. He came in on Monday, and I don't want to say single-handedly through that game because again, the offense can always do more to win you a ball game, but he certainly didn't help in giving the Jays a loss on Monday. Came in, and I don't remember if it was like the sixth inning, seventh inning, something like that. Came in and immediately gave up two-run home runs. I think the second one was at the Jazz Chisholm home run. I think off the foul pole, way to left field.
Yeah, they were both
I
wall scrapers.
Yeah, like again, that's a factor of the Yankee Stadium, like the short porch. Every time you go there, I remember when Dylan Cease was pitching and Ben Rice pulled on like 98 in the hands, barely scraped over as well. Like you just get that. That's just what happens with the Yankee Stadium. So when Judge is hitting 62 home runs, like how many of those are actually legit in other ballparks? I don't know. But nonetheless, Yariel, I remember back to this guy last year in the playoffs. And I think after the Yankees series, actually, no, I think he might have pitched in the ALCS against the Mariners, but he was left off the World Series roster because
Hmm.
it just wasn't great. Like, again, the walk numbers weren't looking great. Hasn't been as much of a struggle this year with the walks, but it was always the hard hits. Like, he also had a home run problem last year. And what do you know, in like his second or third appearance this year since he came back, immediately giving up the two tanks? I mean, I put in here his ERA. It's a 16.88. Don't take too much stock into that.
In
Again,
2.2
it's
innings.
exactly like it's not even 3 innings yet, but I just had to throw that in there. I mean, it was like a 110 ERA or something like that for his one outing there. When you go a third of an inning, not even a full inning, and you give up 4 runs, yeah, it's not going to look great. And as a reliever, it's going to take him a while, a couple clean outings to get that ERA down. I'm not worried about ERA. Again, like with relievers, it's hard to get it low, which is what makes Louis a point 0.7 or whatever it is in special, because I don't know how he's doing that. With Yariel, I don't know. I was thinking, honestly, my thought process for a while when we were talking about Spencer Miles and thinking, okay, is Miles a starter? Is he a bulk guy? I don't know. My thought process was, well, if you're not going to get a 5 man, because look, Jose Barrios gone, Shane Bieber, it's going to take a while. Like, how do you work it until June or maybe, yeah, probably middle of June when Bieber comes back? How do you do that? How do you get to that point without hurting these guys? I thought Miles is maybe a 3, 4 inning guy, and Yariel's the piggyback, and he can go 2 or 3. I
Hmm.
don't know. Is that still an option? Because I feel like Yariel could do it. He was a starter back in 2024. Had a little bit of length last year. I think through like 75 innings out of the pen. How would you feel about that? Like it's a little iffy to me trying to do like the piggyback day when it's a bullpen day, Miles 3 or 4, and then Yariel 2 or 3. I don't think
Hmm.
they're going to do that, to be honest. I mean, they've had 2 or 3 chances to do
Yeah.
that now, and they're just kind of riding a full bullpen day. So, do you think they go to that, or I feel like they don't do that at this point?
Hey, I mean, when you blank the Yankees the way they did it yesterday,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take that 10 times out of
Hmm.
10. But Yariel Rodriguez, the last 2 seasons he played with the Jays, he's kind of been a workhorse. In 24, he pitched 86.2 innings. Last year, 73. I mean, coming out of the pen. He also had a few starts in there, I believe, in 24 and maybe
Yeah.
in 25. But I mean, he's been a workhorse. Last year, 3.08 ERA. Like I'll take that. I don't want to have too much recency bias on those last two outings from him in 2.2 innings. There is, I mean, his expected ERA in those two outings and his expected batting average are pretty horrendous. He has a 3.22 expected batting average
Oh,
and a
jeez.
12.78 expected
Oh my
ERA.
God.
But again, 2 innings, 2.2
Yeah,
innings.
yeah,
I
obviously.
I don't want to put too much stock into that. I'd rather look at what he did last year to the tune
Yeah,
of 3.08 ERA. Um,
yeah,
he definitely deserves like a couple more chances, right, before we really definitively say what he is for this season.
yeah, absolutely. And again, we brought him in, I think, on like a 5 year deal ahead of the 2024
I think it
season.
was 4 years,
So
4 years,
a
27, I
four
believe.
year.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you know this guy is going to be around for a little bit longer. You'd like for him, like I don't think they're going to ever turn him into a starter again. It just doesn't
No,
really fit the mold.
they don't
So
really
can
need to.
Yeah, exactly. And they don't really need to. Like, I remember last year we were running into that situation of like, is it Bowden Francis or Yariel for the last spot? And I'm like, God, we are long past those days because some of the guys we have in this rotation, like Cease and Savage or whatever, the rotation is looking much better. But again, that 308 ERA looked great. But I remember it was the second half of the season, kind of like Hoffman, right? The velo was starting to dip a little bit. Yariel kind of does this funny thing where he tries to like change his arm slot a lot and go down to the side a little
Hmm.
bit. Started messing around with that the second half of the year. I don't have the stats, but I know his first half was a lot better than his second half. So maybe again, this is a benefit that he wasn't with the team the first like month and a half of the season. And now that you're here, okay, full systems go until September. Like you missed the first month and a half just pitching in AAA. Now be a full go and throw 97. He can get it up there. Like he's not going to throw 100, but he can throw
Yeah,
96.
yeah,
So
for
you
sure.
like that out of the pen. The next guy, though, I mean, I had a tough time putting him in here. I mean, I called him the ace after like his second start of the season, and Christian pushed back on that. He said that no, Kevin Gosman is the ace of this team until proven otherwise. Kevin Gosman has still been solid this year, but he's completely lost the strikeout numbers. I don't know why. I mean, the velo's still there for the most part. But one guy that hasn't lost the strikeout numbers, leading the league in strikeouts, the American League of strikeouts, it's Dylan Cease. Again, I called this guy the ace after like his second start. 7 years we have this guy for. He will be the ace for a long time. But I threw him in the series struggles because it was a bit of an up and down outing against the Yankees. First 3 innings, this guy was cruising. I think he gave up one hit, had like 6 strikeouts in 3 innings. And then come the fourth, it kind of fell apart. I mean, the walk numbers started going crazy. I think he had 4 walks on the outing, 5 earned runs from the 2 home runs. The one guy was Ryan McMahon, which I thought of all people, like Ryan McMahon is the home run we're giving up to. I think it was a 3-run shot. Granted, I think some people had actually pointed it out on Twitter that McMahon has faced Cease a lot because playing with the Rockies when Cease was on the Padres, he's seen him a lot. Sure, like he might have had some at bats against him, but like it's Ryan McMahon who's batting like 150 this year. Like that just sucks.
Mhm.
And then the Ben Rice one again, like 99 at the hands. Don't know how he turned on that. I think they said it was a home run in like 4 or 5 out of 30 stadiums. It's just
Yeah.
tough when you hear those stats. Again, Yankee Stadium. So again, lost the command a little bit. Only got through 5 innings in this outing after previously his previous 3 outings got through 7 each. And I actually found the stat that in his career, he's never had a stretch where 3 straight outings he's thrown 7 innings. Had never done it. Finally got that length out of him, which is huge to see. And then we regress a little bit. I feel like this is just what you get with Dylan Cease. You're going to have to struggle with a little bit of that with the home run troubles. He's had that in the past. Like he has the overpowering stuff, but major league players are major league players. When you leave 98 over the plate, guys are going to
Yeah.
get to it. I mean, they can hit 98. Some guys can hit 101. That's just how baseball works. The biggest thing for me, though, is the walks. The walk numbers, I think he only had 4 total walks in those 21 innings, in
Hmm.
those 3 straight outings where he went 7 innings, 4 alone in this outing. That's the biggest thing with him. I want to just chalk this up to it's a great lineup. It's the Yankee lineup. They're not going to chase a lot, even though they are a strikeout team. They're a great hitting lineup. I want to chalk it up to that. And I feel like this is just what you get with Dylan Cease. There's going to be some up and down, but I think in the long term, he's going to be fine, leading the league in strikeouts, 84 in the American League. He may honestly push the entire league for strikeout numbers. I know Jacob
Hmm.
Mizorowski's going crazy in the NL, but listen, this guy could get up to like 250 strikeouts. You know he's durable. He's going to be out there every outing. So I think just chalk this up to just one Dylan Cease outing you have to get through.
Yeah, I mean, Dylan Cease is just pretty. I mean, for me, from what I've seen, at least with the eye test, he looks incredible for me. He looks like he's
Yeah.
almost back to his Cy Young self, and I think the walks are the only thing
Yeah.
that are kind of holding him back from that right now, just a
Yeah.
little bit. But the strikeouts are always going to be there for him, obviously. But a 10.5 walk rate, it's not great. Not great for,
Yeah.
somebody who at least I believe is our ace right now. Um, but I'll take it. If you're going to strike out 10 guys over 6 innings and
Yeah.
you can give up a couple walks in there. You can be a little bit volatile. It's all right.
Yeah, and I feel like that's just what gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen when you throw crazy hard. And he has this thing too now where he like looks away from the plate. Apparently
Yeah.
that helps him with his mechanics. I don't know. I mean, you would think that you have to keep your eyes on the target. I don't know. I don't want to question the Jays pitching staff. They figured that out, but I feel like that's what you get when a couple of times you see this guy just rear back to get 101 or 100 out of the gun. Like you're gonna
Yeah.
get that sometimes where he's just gonna fire 100 into the ground. Like so again, like you said, live with the 2 or 3 walks. If this guy's punching out 10 or 11 every outing, I love
Yeah.
it. And you know he's going to be at the top of the rotation for what 7 more years to come or 6 after this
Mhm.
one. The lineup though, one guy that I hate it because I've been on this guy's case the whole year talking good things about him. It's Kazuma Okamoto. I said from the beginning of the year, I said this guy's going to be great. We had that struggle in early April where he just really wasn't hitting the ball at all, couldn't hit an off-speed pitch, went crazy at the end of April into early May, has 10 home runs on the year. He was leading the league for all third basemen in home runs. We didn't want to talk about him the last 2 episodes because we said, okay, you know what? From here on out, we're not saying bad things about Okamoto anymore, but it's tough. We do have to say something about him because he's hitting 083 in his last 7 games and went 1 for 16 in this series. As much as I want to praise the guy, and we keep talking about the Okamoto for Bo replacement, he's been so much better. Listen, he has, but the on base percentage is down to 302 on the year, 1 for 16 in the series. And again, until those guys like a Barger, a Kirk, a Lucas, all these guys come back, Okamoto's your cleanup guy or your three guy. Like he's
Mhm.
in the middle of the lineup. And when you're getting 1 for 16, batting 083 in his last 7 days, not exactly the production you're looking for. I just want to chalk this up to, again, like he's adjusting to the league, first year in MLB. He's facing some tough pitchers. Like, again, Cam Schlittler's out there and Carlos Rodon is out there and Will Warren has been good this year. Like, these are good pitchers he's facing. So I want to just chalk this up to it's a rookie year. He's going to go through these ups and downs, these ebbs and flows, but it has been a rough stretch for Okamoto the last 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, I'm really surprised with Okamoto's game this season because coming into this when we signed him out of Japan, it was kind of the him or Murakami conversation,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
I was leaning Okamoto because I thought he was a lot more projectable than Murakami was because in
Yeah.
Japan he didn't really strike out a whole lot, he didn't whiff a whole lot, and his chase rate was pretty good. Granted, this year's chase rate is good, but the whiffs and Ks, he has almost a 30% K rate. And
Oof.
that's something that I didn't expect. Yeah, like I thought his ability to make contact was going to carry over and his strikeout rate was going to carry over a little bit more than it did because those are generally things that are more projectable than, if the power comes over from Japan or not. But that conversation is completely flipped because right now Murakami looks like one of the best hitters in the MLB.
Yeah.
Um, but here's the thing with that, I still think that he has some room to grow. Like I don't think we've seen the best out of Okamoto yet just because of those things. Like I don't think he keeps up a 30% K rate for this season. I just don't think that's the type of player he is. That's not the
Yeah.
type of player he's been for almost 10 years in Japan. So I'd expect him to make an adjustment somewhere here.
Yeah. And again, it's a 4 year deal. He's going to be around for a while. You would think that, again, it's his first couple months in the league. How much of it is that he's just not seeing this type of stuff in Japan? Like, I don't know, like that guy Giovanni Cruz that came out of the Yankees bullpen pumping 103. How many guys do that in Japan? Is true. Like, I don't think a lot of guys are throwing or like 98 mile an hour two seamers. Like, we're going to see that from Paul Skeens. Like, has a crazy, like a
Mhm.
splinker and all these pitches. I don't know how much of that he's seeing in Japan. I'll be honest. I don't think they have crazy velo numbers. You can chalk it up to that. But then again, I remember talking about Murakami in the offseason, and the stat was floating all over the internet of pitches higher than 93 miles an hour. Murakami can't hit it. And he's batting like 090 or
He's
whatever.
crushing them. He not only is
Yeah.
he crushing right now, he's crushing fastballs. Like he's doing
Yeah.
the exact thing that, that rumor going around that he couldn't hit homers. He's doing exactly that.
Yeah. And I remember seeing a couple weeks ago, I think it was Jose Soriano on the Angels who had a crazy start to the year. Threw him, I think they were in Anaheim, threw him a two seamer that was high and away, 99 on the black. And this guy launched it like 450 feet to center field. So
Yeah.
how much stock can you take into that of the Japanese competition isn't exactly the same? I don't know because it's translating for Murakami. Like again,
Yeah.
in the long term, I think we knew all along that Murakami is going to have the better home run numbers.
Yeah.
Truthfully, this is a guy that could probably hit 45 home runs. Honestly, like he's another guy like Judge that's
Yeah.
already up to like 18. Like it's crazy. The average you can tell is not there. Okamoto, I think, is going to be a higher average guy. But like you said, all around player. Let's not forget about the defense as well. Like Okamoto's been really solid at third base, something we haven't had in the last few years. Like since Matt Chapman left the Jays, we haven't really had a solid third baseman defensively. We
Mhm.
really haven't had that. So huge to see him do it all around the ball. Again, a 302 on base percentage isn't great. I mean, like you said, the strikeout numbers are just at a crazy high clip right now. It's not something you want to see. Talk about the protection in the lineup as well. This was a big thing with Vlad. Like Vlad didn't have a lot of protection, so he's chasing a little bit more. Is it just a simple fix? Like when some of these guys come back to lineup, Barger, Kirk, whatever, that he starts to perform better? I hope so. And then maybe that eases a little bit of pressure off Okamoto. Like again, once Barger and Kirk come back, just like Varsho, put him towards the bottom of the lineup. Like I think people forget Okamoto started the year, I think in that A series, like in the 7 spot, like 8 spot, he was hitting lower in the lineup and he was great.
Mhm.
Like the first week he played, Okamoto was really good at the bottom of the lineup, no pressure on him. Then immediately all the injuries happen. Okay, you're the cleanup hitter. Like you have to drive in all the runs. So there may have been a little bit of that on him. I think he's going to figure it out in the long run. And then another guy that we really need to figure it out. Our last guy here in our series struggles. It's Vlad. Like I don't want to do this again. It feels like every series we have to put him in the struggles,
Yeah.
but it's because of the performance on the field. His slugging percentage on the year is at a 372. And I think I did this a couple weeks ago. I did a little bit of an exercise where I went through the whole lineup and I looked at who had a higher slugging percentage than Vlad on the team. And it was pretty much everyone except for like Davis Schneider and a couple other guys like Tyler Heineman and Lenine Sosa. Like those were the names. Everyone else, which is including guys like Miles Straw, Ernie Clement, Eugenry Pinango, like all these guys that have a higher slugging percentage than Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Like I'm not talking about Ernie. I'm not talking even about George Springer. Like I'm talking about Vlad. So again, the power's not been there. No extra base hits in the series. Went 3 for 12 in the series. He's supposed to be the Yankees' daddy. Like he's supposed to go into the Bronx and just
Yeah.
crush there. We just
Uh-huh.
didn't see it. Like we saw again some uncharacteristic Vlad at bats where he's chasing out of the zone, like off speed pitches away from him that he's just flailing at. Something we didn't see in the past. The strikeout numbers again are not there, but he just to me doesn't really look like he has an approach at the plate. What's the fix? Like they tried moving him up in the order. I don't think they're ever gonna. Again, it's our $500 million man. They're not going to put this guy in like the 7th spot. That's just not going to happen.
Mhm.
But he needs to get it going if this offense wants any chance of getting going. And we had someone actually in our YouTube comments commented way back in like January saying, what happens if the entire lineup fails? Like nobody in the lineup hits, which we thought was just crazy. Like, how can the
Yeah.
entire lineup not hit? Well, unfortunately, we've kind of gotten to that position a little bit. Vlad's the catalyst. He's right in the middle of it. I don't know what to expect at this point. Like, again, the 48 home runs and all the big home run numbers. I think we might just have to accept that Vlad is like a 20 to 25 home run guy and just
Yeah.
hope that he keeps the average over 300. And to be honest, if he does that, he's not a superstar, but he's a really complete player. I hope he just builds into that.
Yeah, it's weird this year. Like we've been waiting for him to go back to his 2021 self for five
Yeah.
years now.
Yeah.
And I don't really think it's coming. I mean, again, in 2021 he did get a little bit of help from playing in Dunedin and Buffalo for a little bit. But even when he got back to Rogers Center, like he was a different player than he is right now. I feel like his approach has almost reverted to how it was earlier in his career back in like 2019
Yeah.
and 2020 when he was kind of just all over the place with it. Like the bat speed is there. He's
Yeah.
hitting for a good average. He's not really striking out and he has a good walk rate. But
Yeah.
I think the approach isn't there. That
Yeah.
I think that's the big thing. I think he's just in a little bit in his head right now. And he's even said it publicly, like in interviews,
Yeah.
like he knows he's not doing it yet. And I mean, again, he's gonna work for it, right? Like it's not like he's just sitting around like, oh, I don't really care. He's
Yeah.
obviously beaten up by this. But I think,
Yeah.
when he's at his best, he's having a lot of fun and he just doesn't look like he's
Yeah.
having much fun right now.
Yeah, and when you saw that home run in the Tiger series, like there was a lot of emotion coming out of him. Like you could
Hmm.
see it. He was releasing a lot. There's a lot of that built up pressure, like you're talking about. Middle of the lineup, $500 million man. The whole offense, aside from like Varsho, was not hitting for a couple of weeks. He kind of knew, like, I'm the guy that has to get going. And I feel like he's done that in the past where he puts a little too much pressure on himself. Like, remember last September, the playoffs were incredible. I mean, don't forget that. The playoffs were unbelievable, but that month going into the playoffs of September was bad. Like he wasn't hitting well. There was no power. Like his last home run was September 2nd, like no home runs in the month of September after that. So he has these stretches where when we get into crunch time, which was last September and kind of is now, like the guys are kind of pressing. We're 5, 6 games under 500. He presses a little too much. I hope he doesn't do that. And again, even if the extra base hits aren't there, just keep hitting the ball because, like you said, he's kind of lost the approach a little bit.
And it's just so frustrating because we saw that in the postseason, right? And I mean, again, props to
Yeah.
him. He did it when it mattered most. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that performance in the postseason alone paid off a lot of that contract for me.
Yeah.
But it's just the frustration. It's kind of similar to, what's happening with Jeff Hoffman because Vladdy can be the best hitter in the MLB.
Yeah.
And like I think we've seen that in 2021 where I think he was probably the most complete hitter in the league.
Yeah. Because again,
Like,
that year
yeah,
the average was like 310, something like that. OPS over 1,000,
it was
48 home runs.
insane.
Like everything was good. There wasn't one part of his game that wasn't working. And defensively at first base, he's been okay. I think he has one Gold Glove under his belt. He's not going to be
Hmm.
anything special, but he's got good range for a big guy. Honestly, like he can move around over there.
Yeah.
Can be a very complete player. And that's where I'm thinking. I don't think we get back to the 50 home runs, but even if he is like a 25 homer guy, it'll suck on paper when you look back at previous years and think, man, he can't even get to 30. Again, I'll take 25 if the defense is good at first base and he's sitting over 300 and his OPS is over 900. I think the one year he was close to that was 2024 when everyone sucked. I mean, the whole lineup was just horrible in 24, but that was Vlad's second best year. I mean, his
Yeah,
OPS
he
was
was
like
great.
930, 940, 30 home runs, 100 RBIs. I think maybe that's the version that we hope he gets back to, not 21, because it
100%.
like how much was it that he's just playing in Buffalo and he's playing in Dunedin and same thing with the Yankees and their short porch? Like, was it just that? I don't know. Like, was it juice balls? I don't know. Juice ball year was 2019. So I don't think it
Yeah.
was that, to be honest. But again, if he gets back to like a 30 home run guy, I think we'll take
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, I want to ring off some of those 2021 stats for you real quick.
Yeah, let's do it.
So 48 bombs, 111 RBIs, 311
Sheesh.
average, a 401 OBP.
Wow.
He was in the 400s, and then a
God.
600 slugging, good enough for just over 1,000 OPS. That
Wow.
compared to, his career averages at this point, I think it has to be an outlier. Like
Yeah.
I think that's super unrealistic to get him back to that point.
Yeah. And again, the home run totals, I don't think he's gone over, I think 32 was his most. I want to say
32 was his
2022.
peak in 22 outside of 21.
Yeah. And again, 23 got down to like 26. I think it was last year was like 23. Like
Yep,
we're into
23 on
the,
the dot.
yeah, we're into the mid 20s. So, I mean, I just hope that trend doesn't continue. And then he's like a 15 home run hitter because come on, he's just built to kill the ball, right? Like he's not meant to be a 50.
I've seen people compare him to Luis Arias, man.
I know, I know.
It's
We've been
brutal out
talking about
there.
that. It's horrible. And to be honest, when you look at some of the numbers, like they're pretty similar in home runs. I think it's like 3-2 on home runs, and Ariza's got a better average and whatever. Again, let's stop that. Like again, complete player, the guy that we know Vlad can be. It's a tough stretch.
Mhm.
Let's not compare him to Luis Ariza. Okay, I think we know he's not that player. There's a reason one guy got paid 500 mil and the other guy didn't. Let's go to our forecast though against the Pirates in this series.
Yeah.
We've been doing this conversation a lot on the podcast. What did the Jays do with the 5 spot going forward? Like at some point, we may not need to have this conversation anymore because it just is Spencer Miles plus a bullpen day, like Spencer Miles and friends. It may
Mhm.
just be that. I was saying last pod that maybe do you consider the idea of a Chad Dallas from AAA? Like he's had like a 3.4 ERA, no crazy strikeout numbers, but he's been okay in AAA. Like a CJ Van Eyck is down there. Do we try that? Maybe. But I think honestly, at this point, we can end this conversation until further notice, until they start performing poorly. I think Spencer Miles and friends is working in the 5 spot right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean for the time being, right? Like hopefully,
Yeah.
Bieber comes back sooner rather than later and we get some help
Yeah.
there. But I mean, yeah, for the time being, like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think it's okay for the time
Yeah.
being. I mean, if Miles can get you through like 4.1 innings, almost, almost touching 5 innings, like,
Yeah.
hey, that's all we need.
Yeah. Again, how much are they going to build him up? Because I think he's close to like the 60 pitch, maybe pushing 70 pitch mark. Again, with almost no minor league innings under his belt and all the surgeries he's had, I hope he can sustain it over a full season. We'll have to see. I mean, given the Jays' injury history and their luck with that, it hasn't been great, right? So I
Yeah.
just hope he stays healthy the rest of the way. But like you said, right now it's working, so keep it going that way. Another piece of news I had to throw in here. I mean, just what a rough season for this guy, and just what a rough last sort of like year or so for this guy. Jose Barrios finally went under the knife, got the full TJ. I remember they were talking about a week and a half ago that he'll have a surgery and the time for recovery could be 2 months or it could be like 20 months. I remember thinking like, how is it
Yeah.
that vast, the gap in there? Because they're talking about, because at first I think they were talking about loose bodies, which is a big thing they talk about in the league now. Like Hunter
Mhm.
Green went through it, Tariq Skubal, and Skubal's already back to throwing. Like he's
Yeah.
throwing already.
He's
So I thought,
progressing quick.
like, really quick. Again, he's
Yeah.
going into a free agent year. So is that good for his arm? I don't know. I know he's trying to help the Tigers. But with Barrios, I was thinking if it's 2 months, okay, sure, do that and come back in September when we need a good arm. But now with the full TJ, this is ruling him out for this year. And does this rule him out for all of 2027? Like, I feel like it might, honestly.
Almost. I mean, because again, this is a 12 to 18 month recovery, right?
Yeah.
If it's the latter, uh, yeah, it might be all of 2027 for him.
Yeah, honestly. And he'll have one more year, I think, left on his deal with that option. And again,
Yeah.
he's going to opt into that deal, obviously, because if he opts out of $22 million or whatever it is, how is he getting that on the market? So at least we have him for 2028 and our rotations like Dylan Cease, Trey Savage, Jose Barrios, something like that, honestly. But
And
I
then
hope this guy comes
whoever else,
back.
we may get or may come up. Like there might be another
Yeah.
surprise, right?
Yeah, there's always surprises because think back to a couple of years ago when we didn't have Chris Bassett. You go into the free agent market, you sign him. You didn't have
Yeah.
Kevin Gosman, you went out there, you signed him. Just like Dylan Cease this year. Like you never know. Ross the boss is going to go out there in the 2026 offseason, hoping for no lockout, obviously, because that would be tough in the offseason and we miss baseball. But assuming that doesn't go through, who knows? I mean, it's Ross the boss. He's going to go out there and give 150 mil to some guy in the free agent market, whoever it'll be.
Mhm.
So tough for Barrios, who was a guy that was just a workhorse like his entire career. I don't think he had a single, not even just arm related thing, like a single injury his entire career for like
Mhm.
10 years. And then to immediately go from that, you're the healthiest guy in the league, to immediately have elbow stuff, have shoulder stuff last year. Was it a phantom IL thing in September last year? Didn't pitch in the playoffs? I don't know. Comes into spring training, looked okay, but then in AAA, he's throwing like 90, 89, and then TJ. So just a rough last sort of like 8 or 9 months or so. Hope he comes back healthy in 2028. The next little bit of injury news we have here, though, Barger and Lucas are the next two guys that are due back soon. Kirk is going to be a little bit longer. We're probably looking at early June. And the big question, which we've been doing all season, is who goes down or gets DFA, sent to AAA, whatever it is, once Barger and Lucas come back. I've been saying for the longest time that Pinango has to stay. I mean, for what he's been doing
I
offensively.
agree.
Granted, struggled a little bit in the Yankee series, but got his first home run in the last game of the Tiger series, I think it was. So again, for some of these guys on the team, like a Lenyn Sosa, just not doing it for me, honestly. Like in the last 7 days, batting 143 on the season 204. The defense is kind of meh. Like he's not a 22 home run hitter, obviously. I don't know that he's walked yet. Like I remember people were talking
I
about he's
don't
at
think
like,
he has a walk. I don't believe
yeah,
so.
he's at like 100 plate appearances, not a single walk.
He has a
So,
worse chase rate than Javier Baez also.
oh my God. I mean, if you're throwing that name out in 2026, like you know it's bad.
I don't think he really has a spot on this team right now. And I get that he's an
Yeah.
infielder and our infield depth is way worse than our outfield depth. But like I mean, we have guys like Josh Kasevich coming up and especially for
Yeah.
the future, JoJo Parker, Arjun Amal, like that those holes will be filled eventually. And I
Yeah.
just think our biggest problems are offense right now. I think that's
Yeah.
what you have to prioritize here.
Yeah, it's like, what is Lenyn Sosa really doing for you? Like, we talk about Vlad and some of these other guys that are losing the approach. What approach does Lenyn Sosa have at the plate? Like, he
Swing.
swings at everything. Yeah, just swing. That's it. He just swings at absolutely everything. Honestly, I don't know why they throw strikes to him. Just throw everything off the plate. He's going to swing at it. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I have some of the other stats here. Like, Davis Schneider was another guy in that conversation. Man, it's been bad. Like he's batting 130 on the year, 083 in his last 7 days. Pinyango again, not great in his last seven, 198, still batting 298 on the year, pushing 300. And remember, they wasted an option. Like Barger came back for 1 day, Pinyango goes down. Barger back to
Yeah.
the IL immediately, Pinyango's back. So you just wasted an option right there. I just think it would suck if you run into this again. Like say Barger or Lucas come back by the weekend or next week, Pinyango down again. There's two options that are gone, immediately
Hmm.
zapped from the guy. I don't know how many you get, but I don't think it's like 10 plus. Like you're limited in how many options you have with these guys.
Yeah.
I just think the easy one is say Lucas comes back, just get rid of Sosa, honestly. Like I think
Yeah.
that's the easy move. What does he really do for you? And for the people saying that you have too many lefty outfielders, well, okay, that might be the case, but I think you just have to go with the performance on the field. Like,
Yeah,
sure,
like that
Lenyn
again,
Sosa,
that might be something that they have to fix later. Like maybe
yeah,
we'll see where we are around the trade deadline, but maybe you get rid of those one left-handed outfielders for, someone like even like a Randall Grichuk who really
yeah,
mashes lefty pitching. Like
yeah.
there are ways that they can fix that in the long run, but short term where they really need to make up ground in this division, like it has to be Lenyn Sosa because he's not contributing much of anything.
Yeah, because again, even though you have four guys that are lefties in the outfield, and you want to keep Sosa because he's the righty, well, I don't care because he's not hitting the lefty pitchers. he's
You
he's not
can't
hitting
waste the
anything.
roster spot right now.
Yeah, which is essentially what he's doing. And I remember we brought up another guy like Tyler Fitzgerald that never got to play with us, but he was
Mhm.
another guy that go figure because he doesn't really have that upside, didn't even get a single at bat. Yet we've given Sosa like 100 plate appearances. Doesn't really make sense. I think at some point his leash is going to run out. And actually, I love you mentioning the Kasevich point there because I actually said right before the Yankee series, I made a crazy prediction saying that on Monday, beginning of the series, Sosa would be DFA'd, Kasevich called up. That didn't happen, obviously. I might have jumped the gun a little bit on that, but Kasevich is hitting like 300 in AAA. Like
Hey,
you
yeah.
could say, well, there's no power there. Sosa doesn't have any power. He's got one home run this year, and Kasevich at least will walk a little bit. So I feel like at some point we see Kasevich this year, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'll pat myself on the back a little bit. Back
Yeah,
in before spring training started, I wrote an article about how I think he could really surprise a lot of people going into spring training,
yeah,
and he did exactly that. He had a great spring, and he's
yeah,
having a great year so far in AAA. And I think he's definitely going to earn
yeah,
that call up to at least see how he does in the bigs. I think the bat still needs a little bit of development, but I mean,
yeah.
like I mean, he's shown he can play, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's kind of inevitable. Unfortunately, with all these injuries we've been dealing with, you kind of have to figure like at some point it's baseball. We get to July, some of the guy goes down. Like remember last year, Jimenez was out for a little while. We didn't have our
Hmm.
Jimenez was the second baseman last year because we had Bo. Now he's our shortstop. Jimenez had like calf problems and ankle problems. Listen, if he goes down, I feel like Kasevich is the next guy up, right? Like to fill into that shortstop hole
Yeah.
or second base hole. So I think definitely at some point we see him this year. Let's go to our forecast though against the Pirates. Again, people thinking that, well, this is the Pittsburgh Pirates coming to town. This is an easy sweep the series. No, this is a different Pittsburgh Pirates team. Like the NL Central this year, I think every single team is above 500. Like
Yeah.
this isn't the division anymore where the Cardinals are just bad because they're all young and there's no good players. They're performing well. The Pirates have figured it out, brought in some bats in the offseason. Like Brandon Lau used to kill us on the Rays. Like he was a J killer when he played for the Rays. He's on the Pirates now. Like I remember watching him in BP a couple times when he was on the Rays. Absolutely nukes for a small guy too. Like he's not that big
Oh
and
my
he can
gosh. Yeah.
shit.
He creates power like crazy.
Yeah, like Ryan O'Hearn is there, and O'Hearn's been going crazy this year. And the guys they have in the lineup, O'Neill Cruz, they got there, and Brian Reynolds and Connor Griffin. The 20-year-old is up now, and he's looking great too. Let's go to our pitching matchups though for this series. Friday night, Kevin Gausman versus Bubba Chandler. Second game, Patrick Corbin versus Paul Skeens. I will be at that game. I'm going to Saturday's game.
Oh,
Honestly, I
lucky.
just want to see Paul Skeens pitch, but I'm not feeling great about that one with Patrick Corbin on the mound. And then our last game, Dylan Cease versus Mitch Keller in the last game, who's again a solid guy. Like he's not a Skeens type, he's not a Jared Jones
Yeah.
type, all these guys, but Mitch Keller's a solid pitcher. For my predictions for this series, the way the Jays are playing and the way the offense is going, I can't predict a sweep. I can't
No.
go that far. I
No.
will say 2 out of 3 though. I think the easy one to go for is you lose the Skeens game. I just like how with Patrick Corbin on the mound, like he gives up 3 or 4 runs every time. He's going to give up 8 or 9 hits and he's going to strike out like two. So with that going up against the reigning Cy Young winner, I think that's the game we drop. And I think in this series we take 2 out of 3.
Yeah. Looking at game one, like Gosman versus Bubba Chandler, Gosman, I think, is the easy,
Yeah,
better starter there. I think they take game one. I
yeah,
think Skeens is just too good right now. Like
yeah,
he is insanely dominant. And props to Patrick Corbin. He has done what we needed him to do and more this season so far, just signing him off a whim 1 year because Ponce came down with that injury. But I don't see them winning that second game unless, we somehow hit Skeens out of the game after like 4 or 5 innings, like
yeah,
at latest.
yeah. And
And
again,
then again, going into the final game on Sunday, 12:15 start time, by the way, that is an early one.
true, true.
We talked about Cease already. I think he's going to do very well against this Pirates lineup that has a lot of power, but they also strike out a lot.
Yeah. And again, for a Jays offense and pretty much roster as a whole that has been struggling of late, you'd like to take a sweep, but obviously 2 out of 3 is what you need to do. Just put series together like this. Like on the
Yeah.
road trip, this is what they did. They went 4-3 against the Tigers and the Yankees. This is what they need to do. After this, they got the Marlins coming in and the Orioles to close out the month, who the Orioles have just been god awful this year. Like it hasn't been good for them at all. They don't have like any pitching and the lineup just isn't hitting. So again, you don't want to scoff at any of these teams, but when you look at the Pirates, Marlins, and Orioles coming in, I feel like this is that stretch a little bit where you need to get the bats going a little bit. Keep taking 2 out of 3 out of every series, and I feel like that'll put you on the right track. Thank you, Tristan, for joining me today. It was really fun talking ball with you today. Great series in the Bronx. Honestly, all things considered, we took 2 going into this Pirate series. Thank you for joining me today, and let's keep this winning streak going.
Yeah, of course, man. Let's go. Like I hope that they've gained a little bit of momentum, I'd say, since the end of that Rays series. Those first two games in New York were really, really close. I mean,
Yeah,
it was definitely a winnable series, but I think it's cooking a little bit. Like they're not
yeah,
nearly as cold as they were in, the middle and late of April. Like I
yeah,
think it's going somewhere, and the players from the injured list are going to start coming back. So I still have some optimism. I will say, my optimism to win the division has dwindled a little bit, but
yeah,
there is still a lot of baseball to go here, and so
yeah,
much can happen. So,
yeah.
I mean, we'll see where it goes.
Again, we play 162 for a reason, right? So we'll
Yeah.
see where the Jays end up at the end of the season. We will talk to you guys on Sunday. Thank you, as always, for tuning in, and go Jays.